Good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Roy, and I am a committee member. And I have the pleasure this evening of introducing you to Serenity Jackson, who will be doing our arts performance. She is a junior at Worcester Technical High School. She performs under the name Lil Rennie, and she is our Worcester Youth Poet Laureate. And she's going to share her gift of spoken word with us.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm a little tall. All right, so today my poem is called Leadership in Women, as you can see. You know that song that goes, "Girls, we run the world"? Yep, that's the truth. Even starting in the youth. I mean, look at me. I'm a leading example, and I'm a girl. Point proven. That's the solution. Okay, all jokes aside, women take the lead most of the time. I mean, we're literally born with the trait, the mother gene, the queen bee, a leading example, a role model, the swaddle of love, the beginning and the end. Think about when a woman gives birth and the community gathers to see the baby with love and gentleness, a woman raising a blessing, a woman creating life. Community is seen through everything, conversations or communication. Community is the way of life, the way we get about, the way we make friends, and the way these women got here. Being a leader, encouraging others, and most importantly, being themselves. If you inspire people to do their best and be themselves, then you are considered a leader. There's no book about how to be a perfect leader or about how to be a supportive community, but there's definitely examples, and you're going to be looking right at them. If you think about who cleans the household, it's usually the woman. If you think about who cooks dinner, it's usually the woman. If you think about who is responsible for things, it's usually the woman. Now, those are stereotypical views, but it can also hold some truths. Now, even starting in the youth. You know, it's kind of crazy because not only are women holding the responsibility for physical actions, but they also carry the responsibility mentally. Planning events, organizing schedules, meal planning, all of the things that hold your life together. And not only do they hold your life together, they give you life as well. Now, that pretty much sums up how awesome women are and why you can recognize them as the leaders they are. Women are on a powerful hunt to change the game, to expose their name. And when the time comes, you're gonna wish you didn't make them feel lame. Look around and see how the women have taken a door frame and made it into a building, have taken a screw and made it into the most powerful piece holding up the creativity of their creation. These ladies persevere through all these challenges, these obstacles, and the ways of the world, walking as a leader and dropping positive petals along their creative paths. It's about time we give the women the flowers they deserve and allow their good deeds to prosper. Thank you.
Can we get another round of applause? It's so encouraging to hear your thoughtful words about women and the power that they hold. Hello, everyone. I'm Amaris Gonzalez. I am the chairperson for the Advisory Board for the Status of Women. And it is my pleasure to welcome you all to our annual Women of Consequence Awards ceremony. Today, we acknowledge two wonderful individuals making an impact and igniting positive change in our community through empathy and action. Both have exemplified true leadership by uplifting the community, being a role model onto others, and participating in impactful service-oriented projects. Before I go on, I'd like to recognize the amazing women who have volunteered their time, knowledge, and resources to help push this committee forward. Monica Goodwin. Lauren Morocco. Stephanie Silva. Esther Boama Nyarko. Katie Roy. And Kate Norton. Thank you for all you do. We're also looking forward to welcoming two new members, one here with us today, Jenny Cow, and Aaliyah Marie Melville. We would also like to thank our city liaison, Patricia LaFour, the Director of Human Rights and Accessibility, and Sarah Beth Jerome, the staff assistant to the office, who worked closely with the Advisory Committee on the Status of Women to bring this program to life. Thank you for your commitment to this committee. This year, we received several nominations highlighting the work and impact of several individuals. We want to acknowledge everyone nominated and want to encourage you all to keep empowering our community. Joining us tonight in celebration are Mayor Joe Petty, City Manager Eric Batista, and City Council members. In addition, Harriet Chandler, Senate President Emerita. I will now turn over the mic to Mayor Petty and the City Manager Eric Batista for a few words.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Serenity, excellent job. You spend a month at my house when you wrote that? No, oh my God. But there's a lot of truth in that. Women are really the backbone. You look at Senator Chandler, good to be here with Councilor King, also who's with us. Senator Chandler, she led the way back in the 1970s, the 80s, and the 90s. Okay, I won't go back that far, but and it's so important that we recognize the woman. Jaylene, congratulations, a freshman at Holy Cross College, and hope you're enjoying yourself. And double major at Holy Cross, going to be an MD someday, and enjoy the last year at Doherty High School. And congratulations on your receiving this award. And Winnie Octave, Winnie, I know Winnie for a number of years, and should be the consequences of winning. No, I'm only kidding. But she's done a wonderful job, and in her neighborhood where she lives, not just in her neighborhood, but throughout the city of Worcester, has made a difference. And all these the women who have been on in the past, the women who are here today, you can make a difference here in the city of Worcester. You make the city of Worcester go, you make it a better place and a welcoming city here. So I want to congratulate the award winners. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. And I was just asked to talk real quickly about volunteering and boards and commissions. I'll do it real quick. But there's a lot of people want to volunteer. We have a lot of volunteer organizations out there who could use some help, especially our boards and commissions. I just looked at I pulled off the boards and commissions vacancies, if people are interested. There's 2 pages of vacancies. So if people are interested in being on one of the boards and commissions, a lot of interesting ones too, that you'd be very happy to be on. So it's an easy application. It's online. You just have to attend one meeting virtually once you put your application in, and then they'll select the people from there. So anybody interested, it's right there. But we have a lot of organizations who do wonderful work here in the city. We got the REC, Regional Environmental Council, every year. They do the spring cleanup. We have Worcester Together, which really impacts a lot of people here in the city of Worcester, trying to be helpful. So if people are interested, let me know. Again, congratulations to the award winners here today. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Serenity, thank you. Thank you for those words and a reminder of the power of women and the role that women play a role in every single one of our lives. So for me, it's a pleasure to be here to honor the women in our community who are making a difference. And the awardees and the nominees all embody the theme of this year, which is empathy in action. That's the theme of this year, empathy in action. It is an easy thing to go about, for many of us, to go about our daily lives, only caring really about the things that really directly impact us and sometimes only about us. And social media sometimes does that. But it's certainly less work. But these women saw their community in need and stepped up to get involved because they care. They dedicate their time to improving the lives of others and the overall community. These women are committed to their city, and they're also committed to their neighborhoods. And that impact has a ripple effect, not only on their families, but also on everybody that surrounds them in their neighborhoods or their community or even their schools. When people put effort into their community, whether it be planning an event, doing a neighborhood cleanup, or advocating at the state level, it inspires others to put in that same effort. So you inspire others to come along with you and march forward. I want to thank the awardees and the nominees again for all that they are putting into making Worcester the city that it is and investing in your communities. I want to thank Assumption University for your partnership in this event, particularly for offering the young women of consequence, a scholarship. That's extremely important, so I want to thank Assumption University, my alma mater. I want to thank specifically our Advisory Commission on the Status of Women. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do to make sure that you put these events together, but you also are recommending and putting forward initiatives that are focused on the development and the leadership development of our women in this city. Your commission and all the municipalities, boards, and commissions play an important role in bringing input from your community to the attention of municipal government and helping inform us how we can better serve our residents. You also embody the theme of empathy and action. So again, I just want to congratulate both awardees for your contributions to the city, for everything that you've done. You have a great career ahead of you. And Winnie, you're just a rock star. Thank you for everything that you've done, for your commitment, your passion, and your love for this city. Again, congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Petty and City Manager Batista. Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Silva. I proudly serve on the Advisory Committee on the Status of Women, and I have been on the committee since April of 2024. I am honored to introduce our keynote speaker, Julia Roscoe, who embodies our theme tonight, Empathy in Action, with her compassion, care, and community-focused advocacy. Julie is the Executive Director of Abby's House, one of the largest providers of affordable housing and supportive services for women and children right here in Worcester. She brings more than 2 decades of experience in housing and human services, with a career defined by strengthening systems, building collaborative teams, and advancing trauma-informed approaches to care. At Abby's House, Julie has led organizational initiatives that expand access to housing while ensuring services remain deeply rooted in dignity and resident voice. Her leadership reflects a core belief that housing is not just shelter, but the foundation for safety, healing, and opportunity. A New England transplant, originally from the Midwest, the border of Michigan and Indiana, known affectionately as Michiana, right? Okay. I heard that. Julie is of Belizean heritage and a proud first-generation American. These roots inform her commitment to equity and her belief in the power of home to shape belonging and possibility. Julie earned her Master's of Science in Social Work from the University of Connecticut School of Social Work. She is a mother, a community advocate, and speaker whose work continues to inspire others to reimagine what it means to create homes where women can thrive. Julie, we're so glad you're here. Thank you.
Yes, Michiana. Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to the 2 awardees. And thank you to the Committee on the Status of Women for inviting me here to speak to everyone tonight. It's really an honor, and I have to tell you that while I've done my fair share of public speaking, that particular word, keynote, has never been put before something I've said before. It comes with a different sort of pressure and intimidation, but you believe in me, and so I'm here to do this. I'm going to share a story with you, and elements of this will be interactive. So I want to make sure that I give you a little bit of background information first. A few years ago, I decided to take a class in American Sign Language, or ASL, at the Learning Center for the Deaf in Framingham. And I must say that if you have ever tried to learn a new language, you probably know if you don't use it, you very quickly lose it. So I am not fluent in ASL. Let's start there. I was inspired to take the classes because American Sign Language has been a part of my life for as long as I've been alive. But it's only been a part of my life in a somewhat rudimentary way. I grew up very close with two of my cousins. Rhoda is my older cousin, and she's hearing. And Andrea is also my older cousin, same year by a few months, and she's deaf. At the Learning Center, we didn't just learn the language, we also learned a lot about deaf culture. And in our first class, we were told that in deaf culture, your ASL name is not necessarily your given name, it's instead a symbol that you choose to represent some core element of who you are or a particular characteristic that you might want to highlight. This was new to me because growing up with Andrea, my name was simply, which is J for Julie, and Rhoda's name was R for Rhoda, and Andrea's name was A for Andrea. So we didn't pick fancy names. Rhoda, Andrea, and their mom, my Aunt Faith, immigrated to America from Belize in Central America. By then, both of my parents had already immigrated, and my grandmother, Leona, had also immigrated. She never failed to let me know that she came here specifically to take care of me. This was our family as I knew it. Granny Leona, and she had two children, my dad and my Aunt Faith. My dad and my mom had my brother and I, and Aunt Faith had Rhoda and Andrea. When Andrea was born in Belize, she had a severe case of jaundice. The treatments that she needed weren't available, and she developed what's called kernicterus, which is a form of brain damage caused by untreated jaundice. The long-term effects of it include hearing loss, neurological issues, and the development of certain delays. Andrea lived with all of these. She had trouble with balance. She had a very distinctive walk. It was sort of loose and very forward and fast, always fast. Her language was repetitive, and her sentence structure, even in ASL, was usually pretty simplistic. I didn't fully realize that as her little girl cousin, but as an adult, when others were tasked with needing to translate for Andrea, it was the first time that I heard people say, "We don't really know what she's saying." Andrea attended the Illinois School for the Deaf, one of the few places where she got to be immersed in deaf culture. But my own limited ASL meant that Andrea and I never had the conversations that typical cousins might have. I didn't know what she did at school. I didn't know who her friends were. We didn't talk about those kinds of things. I didn't even know if she had an ASL name or what it was. Okay. Last week, I found out that Andrea passed away. She was struck by a vehicle while standing on a sidewalk, a vehicle that she likely could not hear and had no chance to brace for. Aunt Faith had passed 18 years prior, and Granny Leona is gone as well. So as I prepared for this speech over the last week, I couldn't think of much other than Andrea. The adult chapters of Andrea's life tell the story of a woman deeply familiar with struggle. Her disability shaped how she moved through the world. She often resisted advice, didn't comply with every requirement set by state agencies and the law. She rarely lived her life in a way that others might define as successful. At times, it seemed that she refused the very helping hands that were being extended to her. Many saw her hardships as self-inflicted. But as I reflect on her life, I wonder how it might have been different had the intersection of empathy and action been more present in the systems that she encountered. Learning ASL helped me to see this a bit more clearly. When I enrolled in classes, I assumed that I had a leg up because I grew up with a deaf cousin. I assumed that I already knew more than others might, and I was wrong. After months of study, I was no closer to fluency than I had been as Andrea's tiny little student. And that realization was humbling. It taught me that empathy isn't about assuming that we already understand, or that maybe the glimpse that we had somehow makes us an expert. It's about making space for others to speak for themselves. It taught me that it's important in system design, in policy making, and in community life, that there's real danger in centering only our own expertise. Empathy in action requires us to create pathways for people to tell their own stories in their own voices. Andrea's childhood had that kind of grounding. Her stability came from my Aunt Faith and our grandmother, who kept her anchored in family and community and in love. But when Aunt Faith passed away, that very quickly unraveled. Soon after, while in another state, Andrea had a brush with the law that nearly led to her deportation back to Belize, a country that she had never fully lived in. Imagine the terror of that situation. Deaf, carrying the lifelong consequences of childhood illness, facing exile to a place where she knows nobody, has no language access, and ultimately no familiarity. While that didn't happen, what did happen is that the system gave her a one-way bus ticket back to Chicago and a few dollars to figure it out. And that's what she did. Her life illustrates how systems are too often not designed for people with unique needs. They expect individuals to adapt to them rather than adapting themselves to the people that they serve. Andrea spent her adulthood colliding with systems, education systems, healthcare, employment, justice, systems that ultimately fail to recognize her humanity. And when systems fail, the most vulnerable bear consequences that they ultimately did not create. As her cousin, I lived the push and pull of empathy. At times, I was her fiercest advocate. And at other times, I grew frustrated, even judgmental. That's the part of empathy that sometimes we don't talk about, that it's not easy. It's not linear. Empathy slips away when frustration, fear, or judgment of others creep into our psyche. But like a language, empathy calls us back again and again. We must practice, we must recommit, and return to it even when the fluency of empathy feels impossible. And this is why empathy is not simply a feeling, it is an action. To empathize is to activate. It's to take what we know, what we feel, what we witness, and let it shape how we respond, how we build, and how we show up. Empathy without action risks becoming pity or performance. But empathy in action is transformative. It reshapes classrooms, boardrooms, city halls. It rebuilds communities. And that brings us back to why we're here tonight. This evening, we're not simply handing out awards. We are honoring two women whose lives matter because they put empathy into action. A woman of consequence is not defined by perfection or the absence of struggle. She is defined by the ripples of her presence, the choices that shape others' lives, the courage to let empathy guide her steps. Tonight we honor two such women. Our young woman of consequence shows us that age is no barrier to impact, that leadership and empathy can take root early, and even small acts of compassion can spark change. Our woman of consequence reminds us that consequence is not about standing above others, but about standing beside them. She demonstrates that leadership is born not from ease, but from persistence, not from avoiding hardship, but from transforming it into vision. To our honorees, let tonight's award be more than recognition. Let it be a reminder and a charge to continue the daily practice that you have already established of empathy, to stay active in it, and to keep building pathways for others to follow. And to all of us here, may their example inspire us to ask ourselves daily, what might this world look like if I chose to show up with empathy today? Because if Andrea's life has taught me anything, it is this. Empathy is imperfect, but it is powerful. It demands practice, but it changes lives. And if we stay committed to it, our empathy, like the lives we celebrate tonight, can become consequential. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kate Norton, and I'm a member of the committee, and we're honored to have you all with us tonight. I have the privilege of introducing our award winners this evening, but before we do that, I want to take a moment to recognize one of our key partners, in making tonight possible. On behalf of the Advisory Committee on the Status of Women, thank you to Assumption University, for being such a strong partner in celebrating and honoring Worcester's women. It's now my pleasure to invite to the microphone Courtney Orlip Fitzgerald, Chair and Assistant Professor of Practice at the Nursing School at Assumption University. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Like I was just introduced, my name is Courtney Orlip Fitzgerald. I am over at the Froelich School of Nursing at Assumption University. I'm the department chair there in the School of Nursing, where Natalie is actually starting her freshman year. Natalie does not know this yet, but she is my advisee, actually. I had the pleasure of meeting her in June at an orientation, and I was just so thrilled to hear that she was eligible for this scholarship. Natalie is coming to Assumption to study nursing because she's been so touched by the compassion that was shown to her by nurses who are caring for family members, and then also because she wants to help people. And that has really been shown in the service that she's been providing to her community. The Froelich School of Nursing, we were founded in 2019, so pretty recently, to serve the health needs of our society and of the community. All of our nursing students rotate through, I could only count 6 agencies, healthcare agencies in Worcester, but countless others in central Massachusetts, giving care and connection to local people. We currently, because we just got started a few years ago, we have 63 graduates, and they all actually are, almost all of them are working within the Worcester community or central Massachusetts, which is wonderful. Natalie has embodied this focus on community through her volunteer hours and work in Worcester, where she has supported people and children with needs. By continuing her education at a local institution, Natalie can continue to integrate herself and build her community through her work in school and hopefully after in her career. Natalie, congratulations on receiving this scholarship.
Thank you so much. And now it is my honor to begin this evening's recognitions with the Young Woman of Consequence Award. So I'm going to embarrass you right about now, okay? This award reminds us that empathy in action knows no age limit and that Worcester's future is already being shaped by young leaders who step up, who speak out, and who take action. Our 2025 honoree, Jaylene Matias, has already shown remarkable leadership as a climate activist, as a student, as a writer, and as a community advocate. Through Mass Audubon's Youth Climate Leadership Program, Jaylene helped organize Worcester's Youth Climate Summit earlier this year. She emceed the event, she moderated a panel, she co-led the workshop, and she brought together more than 100 youth and adults to learn, to connect, and to take action. In the Worcester State University Upward Bound program, she's a role model to her peers, knowing to step forward. She's a role model to her peers, known for stepping forward to lead discussions, debates, and projects. And earlier this year, she helped to organize a fundraiser that raised enough money for students to tour Boston University, turning an idea into a real opportunity for her classmates. But what stands out about Jaylene's leadership the most is her empathy. She makes a space for every single voice, whether guiding youngest members of her climate team on a park walk, or serving meals at Worcester's winter shelter, or writing thoughtful articles for school newspaper. She is proof that Worcester's future is bright, not just someday, but right now. Please join me in congratulating our 2025 Young Woman of Consequence, Jaylene Matias.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I want to express my deepest gratitude, even if you see glitter in my eyes, to the City of Worcester Advisory Committee of the Women on the Women's Status of in the Executive Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for honoring me with this award. It's truly humbling to stand here and be recognized among so many brilliant minds and passionate individuals. I also want to appreciate the Mayor, Joseph Petty, and City Manager, Eric Batista, for being here tonight and support this event that highlights volunteerism. I must thank my mother and my oldest brother, Matthew. They've both sacrificed so much: sleep, time, energy, and a lot of gas money. Just to make sure I've got to my clubs, volunteering, and events on time. I'm pretty sure they know Worcester roads better than Google Maps at this point. But seriously, their love, support, has shaped me into the person I am today, and I love them so much for it. I want to also thank two incredible women, Taylor Whedon and Sarah Bertrand. Taylor has been in my life for 4 years, and throughout that time, we've grown from mentor and student to real friends, celebrating each other's wins and growing together. I consider myself beyond lucky to have been taught, guided, and inspired by someone as amazing as her. And Sarah, even though she's not here, thank you for pushing me in the best ways through the Youth Climate Leadership Program. I'll admit, when I first heard the word climate, I pictured bugs, dirt, and way too much sun. And for anyone who knows me, I hate bugs. Despite the occasional creepy crawlies, though, it turned out to be one of the most personally rewarding experiences I've had. You helped me step out of my comfort zone and still somehow made it fun, even if I constantly was checking for spiders. Lastly, I want to share something from the heart. As someone who dreams of working in the women's health field, of helping young girls, grown women, and every voice in between, I know how important it is to believe in young people. So I'm asking all of you here today, support the youth. Support the girls, the boys, the ones with outlandish dreams and strange ideas. Don't shoot them down, don't dim their light. Youth are the future. And as someone once said, with great power comes great responsibility. And you may not see it, but your decisions, your programs, your leadership impact us. So use that power to uplift, inspire, and to listen. Thank you again for this incredible honor. And I promise to carry it into every space I enter, hopefully bug-free. Thank you.
Take a picture, we'll do some photos right
Yeah, right. We got it, I swear. And now, after honoring a young leader at the beginning of her journey, it is my privilege to recognize a woman whose decades of service have transformed has transformed Worcester and continues to inspire us all. Our 2025 Woman of Consequence, Winifred A. Octave, spent her life bringing people together and building stronger communities. Born in St. Lucia and raised in a tradition of service, she brought the same spirit to Worcester as an immigrant and as a mother of three, balancing her professional work with her deep civic involvement. When crime and fear threatened her neighborhood, Winnie opened her living room. Those kitchen table meetings with neighbors and with police and with local officials, those became the Green Hill Neighborhood Association, which today stands as a model of grassroots organizing. Her leadership brought new life to Grant Square Park, turning it into a vibrant hub with a playground and gardens and youth programs and community events that bring together residents and leaders alike. Now, beyond her neighborhood, Winnie has served on more than 10 boards and commissions, advocated for better public transportation, both as a rider and as a policy voice. She has testified before Congress at the invitation of Senator Edward Kennedy and received recognition from across the state and from beyond. And yet, at her core, she remains a neighbor. Someone who checks in during her daily walks, who welcomes others with a smile, and who always lifts people up. Her daughter calls her the queen of volunteering, and it's not hard to see why. Winnie's empathy is never passive. It's always active, always building something better. Please join me in honoring the 2025 Woman of Consequence, Winifred Octave.
Thank you so much.
Well, she said everything I was supposed to say, so should I still speak? Good evening, everyone. My name is Winifred Octave, but everyone calls me Winnie. I came to the United States in the late 1970s from the beautiful island of St. Lucia with my best friend. Our dream was to be a dancer on Soul Train. We landed in New York only to find out the show was filmed in California. And with only $300 to our name, that dream was put on hold. Instead, life took me on a journey I could never have scripted, one that took me to Worcester, a city that has become my home, my community, and my cause. Presently, I work for the Mass State Lottery in the Worcester Regional Office as the administrative assistant. It's a role that requires accountability and integrity, qualities that I believe are also essential in life and leadership. Beyond my work, my true passion has been service, helping people find pathways to self-sufficiency. That passion has also led me to some unforgettable opportunities, including one of my highlights of my life, testifying before the Senate Subcommittee on Children and Families on the proposal to reauthorize the Community Services Block Grant in Washington, D.C., at the invitation of the late Senator Edward Kennedy. He shared with me that my testimony would not only impact the federal program on the review, but also the lives of families all across Massachusetts. And then he looked me in the eyes and said, "Winnie, I hope you know you are an inspiration to all of us." That moment reminded me that each of us, no matter our background, has the power to make a difference when we speak up for what we believe in. Tonight, as I stand here as the 2025 recipient of the Woman of Consequence awarded by the City of Worcester Advisory Board on the Status of Women, I am truly humbled. Thank you for selecting me. But let me be clear, this award is not just about me. It is a celebration of every person, especially every woman who has walked beside me, encouraged me, and inspired me. I must thank those who believe in me enough to nominate me. Senator Harriet Chandler, who I first met through my son when he was 12 years old, and she has been a steadfast supporter ever since. Thank you, Senator. Representative Mary Keefe, a co-architect of the Green Hill Neighborhood Association, which helped bring life back to what was once a forgotten part of our city. And Joe Corazini, whom I call my son from another mother, because I've known him since he was a little boy. I also want to acknowledge the many remarkable women and allies like Ann Biru, Lorna Sifley, Councillor Candy Mira Carlson, Patsy Lewis, Gilda Gillis, Mary Little, Doreen Samuels, Edith Morgan, Olga Lopez, Janelle Correa, Sharon McCoy, Lynn Norris, Deb Bowles, and many more whose belief in me has fueled my work. I am a proud mother of 3, Rohan, Danielle, and Tariq, and the grandmother of 4. They have been my greatest teachers, showing me resilience, unconditional love, and the importance of leading by examples. Over the years, I have held many roles from Wall Street to Worcester, but my true calling has always been service, empowering others to rise, giving not just a helping hand, but the tools and confidence to stand on their own. When crime shook my neighborhood in 2012, I did not wait for someone else to fix it. I invited neighbors, elected officials, and service providers to my living room to talk about solutions. From those conversations, the Green Hill Neighborhood Association was born, and together we transformed fear into action, action into community through our monthly meetings, neighborhood meetings. One of my proudest achievements is the transformation of Grand Square Park from a neglected space into a vibrant community gathering place. After years of persistence and going through 3 city managers, $1 million was allocated for renovations. Today, the park has a playground, a state-of-the-art basketball court, a community garden with the help of REC, and lights for evening use, except for basketball playing at night. It is now home to our annual community block party in its 13th year, where neighbors celebrate, share resources, and strengthen bonds. I believe the best way to serve is to meet people where they are, like on the streets, knocking on doors, and in the moments of needs. I believe we cannot wait for government alone to solve all our problems, but we each have a responsibility to lift each other up. Kindness is not weakness, it is power. It builds trust, it opens doors, and it changes lives. You don't need a title, a large budget, or a spotlight to make a difference. You just need the willingness to show up and care. To the City of Worcester Advisory Board on the Status of Women, thank you for ensuring that women in our city have the resources, visibility, and respect they deserve. And to everyone here tonight, thank you for reminding me that our community is strongest when we lift each other up. I promise to continue working for my community, for every woman finding her voice, and for every neighbor who believes that together we can create a city where everyone can thrive. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I don't know if you're feeling the energy, but I certainly feel empowered to not only feel empathy, but put it into action. And I just want everyone to know here that you are a neighbor, you are a friend, you are a family member, and you touch the lives of others every day. And it has been such a privilege for myself and the committee to review nominations, and it definitely was not easy to select awardees, but we are so grateful that we get to be impacted and get to hear those stories. And we're looking forward to this event every year. So thank you guys so much. That concludes our ceremony today. I invite you guys all to come up, take pictures. Please take food on your way out. And can we get a congratulatory clap for the awardees one more time?